Today I'm going to talk to you guys what I think is the most important thing in design. What I think make design a good design. I'll be using Ash and my project, Fast and Furious Spy Racers, as an example as I talk about each of the design principles. I will be talking about 7 principles, going from 7 to the most important principle. Number 7, font choice. A lot of time when I watch a live stream, people designing or where people can interact with the professional designer, people often ask, what font do you use? But today, let me tell you, I think the font choice is one of the least important thing out of what I think is the most important thing. But let's talk about font choice. Font choice in UX UI design, usually the non-decorative fonts are better font to use. In this project, I simply use one of the most overused font, Helvetica Neue. The reason why I picked the font is because it's made simple and clean. Decorative fonts are good maybe for a page like this, but for UI, it's really not a good font. The functionality, when people can find what they need and click on what they need, is far more important to the users. So as I simply guided you guys, pick simple font. Let's go to Adobe Font. Adobe Font is where I usually get my font. I can show you guys my Adobe Font to see the fonts that I have been using throughout the time. Here are all the fonts that are active on my Adobe Font. It's not as many as it appears because you guys can see, like, this is just one family. I usually like to pick font family that has a lot of weights and style. When the font has a lot of weight and styles, allow you to be consistent and out of the box at the same time. I can mention a list of fonts that I like a lot and I think will generally work for UI cases. For example, Open Sans, Limba Sans. If I pronounce any font name incorrectly, pardon me. It's actually one of my favorite fonts. Here is a preview. It's super clean. I don't know. It's like there are just so many things. There's just so many good things about this. Being simple, clean, nice spacing, so I can comfortably read this. I really love it. Down the list, I also really like This is embarrassing. This is a common font, but it's a really good font. This font is not exactly the greatest for UI, but you can use for body copy because this does have a little bit of decoration to it. My very favorite body copy font is actually Proxy Nova. Again, it's a very common font and probably very overused, but I tested this font, like blind tested this font with many other fonts, and then I just type out a paragraph and I read each paragraph. This font was able to allow me to read the quickest, cleanest out of all the other fonts. But again, this might be just me, but you guys can see different fonts at different body weights carry different effect to the user, and I like fonts that people can go through and read very fast. Anyways, yeah, there's Short Sans and Noto Sans. They're both really awesome. Check them out when you have a chance. But Adobe Font, you guys can find a lot of clean font and just type in whatever you were going to type or stuff and just give it a read. Let's talk about the 6th most important thing I think in a project. It's good images. Images is generally outside of our control as designer. Who do you partner with? How can you find more engaging image to give you that boost to your project? Actually, you guys might not believe this, but I personally believe that it makes a huge difference. Between my projects, the design skill is about the same because I design all of them with some friends. I don't think my design skill jump dynamically, but the image choices is what make the difference. The projects that I got featured by Behance are usually the ones collaborated with featured photographers. I myself may not be a photographer, and I definitely nowhere close to be featured when I take my photos, but remember to collab with people that have that skill so your projects go to the next level. For this project, I simply searched on the internet Photoshop crop photos to get those image out of the project itself, which is okay, but not as amazing as it could be if it has a professional photographer animator that gave me just the right take. But you guys can see I try to be pretty careful with my screenshots for this project. But I think it's one of the key that truly boosts the difference from your project being able to be featured or not. Most of the feature projects has significantly better photos than other projects. Number 5 most important thing I think about UX UI design is the read width. Can people comfortably read your text and then not be like super long and then hang over, or too short, like short and long horizontally? The project needs to be comfortable to read and then go to a nice paragraph. I think it makes a huge difference. When people have a paragraph way too long or way too short, make people look like they have no idea about typography. They don't think about the user, they just think about overall look of the design. Overall look of design is very important, but the user experience always trump the art or the look of the design. Number 4, using a grid. All my projects has a grid. I may not show it to the people. A lot of projects I do show people the grid, but all my project has grid. Let's see if I display. I didn't show you the grid. Let's open the project. I have the project opened. Go to XD. I designed all my project in XD. And here we go. Let's open up this project and I can show you guys. There's a grid and there's a very careful grid. So here are all the screens, and then here are the behind portfolio piece. But I can turn on the grid. As you guys can see, carefully placed in grid from screen, from the tile, the image, the tiles, and then look at this screen here. Look at how the text are placed in the grid. Look at that. The age, the grid. This is a 3-column image. You just don't see this 1 column. I think grid is what differentiates you from an amateur to a professional designer. When you have a grid, you can easily make your project responsive, making you able to get the design very fast and very cohesive. When people scroll down your project, without them knowing, they are starting to sense like the cohesiveness of the entire project. Like the tile right here, without a grid, this will just be a chaotic, a bunch of picture, but with grid, it look beautiful, random, but yeah, really consistent at the same time. If you guys do want me to make a video about how to use grid, I can do that. Just comment below. But if nobody cares, I probably will not worry about it. But using a grid, to me, is the number 4 most important thing for UX UI design. I mean, even print design. When I used to do print, and it was making a huge difference between me and other designers. Number 3, colors. You guys might think I am overstating this, but color can break your design, no matter how talented you are. Even if your design has the best of everything that I mentioned, when you put color that clashes with each other, people will not be impressed. People will not love it. When you have color that are uncommon, even if they're good, sometimes they will be thrown down because people don't feel comfortable. They don't feel right. And then they might not even look through your project. So pick colors that go well with each other. Yeah, this project is generally just blue and this dark gray. It's a really dark gray. I have talked to you guys many times about coolers.co. Let's close that. You just start generate, and they give you great color just like that. See, hello, let's go. This is great, you know. And then like you just press space bar, you can see. And then if you have a color for the brand, and click on them, and say if our brand color is, and just wait, that doesn't even make sense. Let's just say this is the brand color. Let's say you can lock it, and then you can press spacebar, so that color doesn't change, but other colors change with it, and then you can find a good palette. And when you find a good palette, maybe pick like a couple to be the main dominated color, so you have those like really highlighted, and the rest of the colors should be just accents. They're like small, because if you have 5 dominant colors, your project will look like you really have not a template. You want to kind of give it a little contrast. We'll talk about contrast and hierarchy in a little bit. Number 2, the second most important thing in UX/UI design is consistency. If you guys are part of my community, you guys probably know I'll be like, this doesn't look consistent to other part. That doesn't look consistent to other part. It almost seems like that's the only thing I care. And let me tell you, on my list, it's the second most important thing. It might be even be most important thing, but it really breaks the design when your design is not consistent. Let's talk about this. If you're gonna do a rectangle button, sharp edges. This project is all about having sharp edges. So all the edges, and we do have round button, but when you pick to have sharp corners, you have sharp corner all across. If you have a rounded corner all across. If you have peel these those round shape on the edge, just make all your button the same shape. It's so important to keep that consistency so people can feel familiar. And to what degree, right? How consistent do you want it to be? The corner of each of these slanted angle are slanted at exactly same degree. All of them. There's no like a little slant more than that. That is what I call consistency. And then you see this little triangle element there here, and they're there. They're also down here. You can see that when I bring up a new element, I use it several times in the same project, and then the button, there are several places. This triangle, angle, they're in several different places. It's important to bring that consistency by using the exact same stylized design throughout the pages. So, yeah. Inconsistency looks funny, look amateur, and also make your user feel like you are in and out of a brand. It's like this is part of a brand. It's this. Say if those corners and and the color. If all of your pages are like purple, and then all of a sudden some of the pages are pink, people will kind of fell off unless you go that's like some purple, pink, purple, pink, pink, purple. Just like if you have a little bit of changes, it's okay. But generally, you want to try to keep it as cohesive as possible by bringing the consistency in. That including using the same font. Like say if you pick 2 fonts, 3 fonts, stay with those 2 or 3 fonts. Or say if you pick a font size, keep the same font size kind of throughout the project, so people can feel like they're looking at a cohesive, consistent design. Now I'm going to talk about the most important thing in design. From my opinion, from a personal standpoint, I think this is what make all the great projects great. Make all the projects really sign up. This, I call it hierarchy, or simply contrast. When people are scrolling through, I purposely display this at the 1920 by 1080, a common-minded size for people to view this project, to show you guys the experience. People come here and then they see it don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, and then you can read other stuff. People need to know. People need to feel like they know where their eyes need to go instead of just wandering all over the place. Contrast make your project pop. They go, oh wow, this element, the next element, a big trailer for the spice racers, and go down. The less important, then contrast. So small, and also then a big one, and then small, and then even smaller, and then it break into pieces. and then they are together big again. So get people contrast. Visually, you don't get people too many things. You don't get people no idea where they go. They just go, see that there's a purposeful putting this higher so people can look at it and go to the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. You get them a direction, you get them a contrast to see between text, between the image, so people cannot mistakenly thinking what is more important. Don't know where the eye is supposed to fall. Contrast. Again, the big text, the smaller text, let people know where they need to be. And this is like the hover, so where their eyes follow the hover, follow the sides, follow the highlight, and then bring that contrast. See that? Very important that people see the image, they go to each person, read about them. It's just so very important. And you can see from the very big element, break apart, a median element, and a little bigger element. And then also you know that, see that from this frame to the next frame, you don't get distracted by the next frame. You give people enough space to break the frame apart and then let them know what to focus. Again, you know, I purposely try to make you look at this one. Purposely look at that. There's image on the side to make it more entertaining, but it's gray out, it's opacity out. So you can focus on the most important thing. To focus on where I want you eyes to go. Anyways, comment below and let me know what you guys think. What are some other principles that you guys think is important that I didn't mention. Maybe I will mention in the other videos. But these are the stuff that I think if you can master and improve on, your project will be the next level. Thank you for watching. Watch my other video. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.